Welcome to Tobar's Realm. Today I'm going to start on the leg armor for the suit of armor I've been working on. And for these pieces I just got my pattern started here on some beer box cardboard. I'm going to do the knee pieces in metal and then the shin piece in a combination of metal and leather. So I just got it tacked together here to see if these patterns will work, and I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to take this apart and start by cutting out this knee piece. Alright, I got all the pieces filed and the edges cleaned up. So now I'm just taking to this wooden anvil that has a bowl shape cut out in it. Use my wooden mallet and kind of pound it down into there. Alright, I started by using that wooden mallet into the bowl shaped hole there. Now I'm just going to go and kind of straighten out some of these bends in there. Go back and forth between the bowl and the ball here just to try to get that double curve finished up. Alright, I got both of the knee cobs pretty decent double curve in it. So now I'm going to go back and just tap it with the steel hammer all the way around where that curve is. It'll take some of those little uneven dents out and add a little bit more uniform curve to it. So work on that for a little bit. Okay, now that I got all the curves done on these, I'm going to go and I'm going to chisel on the inside here where this black line is. I put it about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch in from the edge, and I'm just going to chisel along that line and then get that fold started and bend it all the way over so I'll have a rolled edge all the way around. I'm not going to do this side, that'll be underneath the piece above it. So just going to start by chiseling that in there. Alright, now that I got that inside line chiseled and it's starting to fold over, I'm just going to use the small hammer here and work that all the way over. Alright, so I got all the edges rolled on all the pieces, and I went and I just filed down the sharp edges on those. And now I'm going to go back and chisel right along the inside of where that rolled edge is. So I'm just going to go back with the same chisel and do that line right along the edge. Alright, I got a couple pieces done here. Got the chisel line in there. Just gonna continue on with the rest of these. Alright, I got the chiseling done on all these pieces. Ended up adding a crease down the middle to all of them. And now it's time to punch the holes in them for the rivets. I found that about a third of the way in is a good approximate of where that goes. Too far out it'll over rotate, too far in and it won't rotate enough. So about a third is good. So I'm going to get these center punched and punch these holes out. Alright, I got the holes done for the knee pieces here. Just have it held together with some nails. And now moving on to the lower leg. So I think I'm going to make this a combination of leather and metal. I'm going to put like a metal strip as a shin guard and then leather on the side. So alright, I got the shin pieces cut out and filed the edges and ready to chisel around the edge and fold that edge. So let's get started on that. Alright, I got the shin guards done, all the rolled edges and chiseling. They turned out alright, I guess. Kind of hard to chisel those. I got a couple of mistakes, but overall they're pretty decent. So I think I'm going to add some spikes on the wide part here. This is a practice one I did when I made the pauldrons that go with this, the shoulder pieces. So I think I'm gonna cut out some of these little spike patterns and weld them on right in the middle of that wide spot. Alright, continuing forward here on the shin guard parts. Just working out where I need to put the holes. And then I'll make this part leather with straps around the calf. I'm basically going to try to match it with these arm guards. So this will start by putting these holes in, and that's where I'll attach the leather that'll go around the sides. Alright, making slow and steady progress on this. I've been working on the leather, getting the patterns figured out for that, getting all the holes punched. Just got it tacked together for now. I'm going to end up bluing this metal, and then I'm going to use copper rivets for this part in the middle. But right now I am just working on the trim that's going to go around the outside edge. Like that. Alright, I got all the trim pieces done for the legs and all the holes punched. But I think before I rivet any of that stuff, I'm going to take these metal pieces off, clean them up with the wire wheel, and then heat them up with the weed burner and spray them down with WD-40. So I'm going to do that first. Alright, I got the pieces blued. They're looking pretty good, I guess. Not sure if it's blued or carburized, but either way, those are good. So I'm going to start working on the rivets on the leather. Alright, I got all these pieces attached with the silver rivets. I would have done all copper, but I don't think I have enough of them. So I'm going to use these thin copper rivets around the outside and when I do the buckles. And then I got some bigger ones I'll use to attach that metal piece. So I'm going to start getting these little ones attached. Alright, I got these riveted, all the trim on there. So now I'm going to move on to attaching that metal piece. And I got these larger copper rivets I'm going to use for that. So let's do that. Alright, I got all those rivets done. Now it's time to work on the straps. I'm going to have one right about here to try to go across that seam and one up here to go across this one, and then I'll probably add one right along here just to help wrap it around the leg. So start figuring those out. Alright, so the lower leg pieces are essentially done as far as the leather, metal, and riveting. But now I need to add the chainmail that I'm going to put in these panels right here. So I need to make up some jump rings, and I'm just going to attach them the same way I did on these ones. Just put a little hole through the leather and weave it through there. But first I need to make some jump rings, and I just make my own jump rings. I just use I don't remember if this is maybe a big nail or something, but made a mandrel out of it, drilled a hole through it. I use electric fence wire, make these little coils, and I'll cut all those rings out, and that's what I'll use as my jump rings. I don't bother to cut them with a saw. I just cut them with wire cutters. It was good enough for me anyway. So I'm going to make up some more of these and get the rings made. Alright, I got the chainmail on the first leg piece finished. That took a while. So here's before and after. And that's matching the arm pieces pretty good, I think. So start on this one. Alright, so finally got these lower leg pieces done. It took quite a while to do all the chainmail, but I think they turned out good. I think they match arm pieces pretty close. So now it's time to start working on these pieces. I'm going to get them riveted together and then work on kind of fine-tuning that needs to be able to go up a little more. So once I get it riveted together, I can kind of encourage it with a hammer to be more the shape I want it to be. So I'm going to get these rivets set. Alright, for the rivets, I'm just using these roofing nails just because they got a nice big head on the back side. I put a brass burr on it, clip it off, and then peen it down like these. So I'm just going to go around and do the rest of these on here and then work on getting this shaped a little bit more where I want it. Alright, so I got all the rivets done for the knee and the lower leg. I just cut those roofing nails off and then used them as rivets. Put that brass burr on there. So that's pretty good. So now to work on the thigh piece. So I'm going to cut out some cardboard and get started on figuring out the shape of that one. Alright, just been working on the pattern for the thigh and came up with this. So basically wrap all the way around and kind of a strap around the inside of the thigh, and then I'll put a buckle on the outside. And for the top, I'm going to attach it to a big belt. Use a D-ring and a strap with a buckle there. So for now, I'm just going to get this pattern cut out, I guess. Alright, I've just been working on the thigh pieces here. I decided to do another layer where the rivets will come through and kind of match the line of the metal piece there. So I'm just going to start by getting that riveted onto here and then work on the trim. But that's where I'm starting at. Alright, I got the thigh piece done. Had all the riveting done with the trim. Got the buckle put on that goes around the thigh. And the part that connects to a belt. I think that'll give some good mobility and support at the same time. So now I think I'm going to move on to this open space here, and I think I'm going to do ring mail. I got some thinner black leather that I can cut into strips and weave these 1-inch rings to cover that area. So I'm going to start figuring that out. Alright, just trying to figure out the layout of these rings, but I think this will work. So I'm going to cut out some more of these straps and kind of get it sized and then see if I can get it riveted on that thigh piece. Alright, so I've just been working on the ring mail part, and this is what I came up with. This is the top of the thigh, right thigh. So I think that'll fit in there pretty good. So I'll trim these extra pieces off and put a rivet there, and I'm thinking a rivet in the center just to hold it down good, because when I do both ends, it kind of pops up a little bit. So I'm gonna probably start up here to get it started off in the right spot, and then start working my way across. Alright, well, this is going pretty well, so I'm just gonna continue on here with the rest of this one. Alright, got the first one done. I think that's looking good. Looks well balanced, and so do the second one. Alright, I finished up all the rings on the thigh pieces. Those turned out good. So next, all I gotta do is rivet them to these knee pieces, and I think I'm done, so I'm gonna do that. Alright, all done. I think they turned out good. Thanks for watching. Till next time.